Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So in today's video, it is going to be the best bunny build for the 400% invasions. So without further ado guys, let's get right on into today's video. Before we do that though, real quick, my creator code is going to be on screen right now, so make sure to rock that creator code. Is the best way to support me and help out the channel, and my Discord server is also going to be linked in the description. Now with all of that out of the way, let's actually get on into today's video. So the first question or point that we are going to go on over is whether we do a crit build or a non-crit build with bunny. So obviously with a crit build you would be using the mods on screen as shown, and for a non-crit build you would be using these mods instead. So I'm going to quickly just give you a little bit of a rundown of what I personally think is the better build to go for, and then we are going to take it from there. Okay, so first up, we'll talk about the non-crit build. Now, the damage will depend on the faction of enemies, as well as the build you are rocking. Now, with what I'm going with here on screen, just my general non-crit build for bunny, and then we've adapted it to work in the 400% just in general. Now, with the numbers that you can see on screen, I'm hitting on average 150,000 up to maybe 200,000 in numbers, and then dealing with the bosses is just, you know, run around and do the same thing. So on average, I do think the non-crit build is still a solid option for running in a team, but I do, however, want to talk about the crit build. Now with the general crit build, right off the bat you can see the numbers are significantly higher and deleting the enemies is significantly faster. Now I do want to say that, you know, obviously rocking non-crit versus crit is a kind of unfair ground, so you know there is a bit of leniency for that. However, just generally I do feel like for 400% invasion specifically, using the non-crit build is, the crit build is the better option. One other thing I wanted to quickly go on over is Bunny's red Transcendant module called High Voltage. Now High Voltage is great for general builds, but when it comes to mass amounts of spawns like this, High Voltage is just not sustainable. If you do 400% invasion solo, it can be somewhat sustainable. As you can see here, I'm still surviving technically, but it is still wasting more time, and running this build without High Voltage is 100% the better option. Now, like I said, I am a bunny believer, I'm a man of bunny, but realistically, using high voltage will only ever lead to situations as the following, where you get sandwiched and absolutely die. Even running the exact same build, however, just without high voltage, you can see that exact same scenario that I was running a moment ago, and it's just absolutely been cleared fast AF because there's no high voltage, a good amount of range, and a good level of damage. Not to mention the most important part of running this without high voltage is that beautiful sound. I'm a straight man, but when I hear that, oh my god. Okay, so with all of that stuff that we've just gone over noted, let's talk about the build. Now I'm going to start off by doing this a little bit differently. I'm going to go on over the external components, Reactor, and then I'm going to go on over the build on Bunny. Starting off with the external components, I'm using two parts of a Supernova set. This is to give me the electric skill power modifier buff. Then I'm also using two parts of the Annihilation set to give me an extra duration buff of 5.7% as well. Now for the stats on here, I've gone with MP recovery out of combat and HP for the auxiliary power. For the sensor, I have gone with whatever resistance, but the other important stat being MP recovery in combat. For the memory, the MP recovery modifier is what's important, and then I've also got a firearm proficiency gain modifier, so this is kind of ideal for leveling. And last but not least, for the processor, I've got toxic resistance and shield and shield power, shield and shield recovery modifier would also be great on here, but max shield is basically the only one that you actually need. Now for the reactor, this is what I have got on my reactor right now. I'm using an enduring legacy reactor with electric and singular buff, and then I'm using it with a skill cost decrease on the bottom and a skill critical hit damage increase on the bottom as well. This is almost ideal, I guess. We don't really need the skill cost, but it is a nice little touch to have. A reactor like this with skill, effect range, and singular would also be absolutely great because Bunny thrives off singular. A reactor like this would also be great with critical hit rate and critical hit damage because we are still going for a crit build. So with all of that out of the way, let's actually get on into the build for Bunny. Okay, so this is what we have for the actual build going forward. We'll just quickly go on over the smaller things and then work our way up to the bigger things. Starting off, we've got long distance maneuvering. I just prefer long distance. Any maneuvering module is perfectly fine. Next up, we've got increased HP. Only 1 HP increasing module. That's all you need with Bunny, in all honesty. Electric condense. So we're going to be using this to deal with the bosses. This is also a very important part of the build, because this is going to be the best bet for destroying bosses fast AF. Next up, we've got skill expansion and maximize range. This is all for range, of course, but maximize range also comes with a negative 20% skill power modifier, so that's something of note. And to conquer that modifier, we've got focus on singular as well as focus on electric, giving us a nice little kick there. The focus on singular is going to be the important one, but you know, that is the gist of the two focus mods we're using. Next up, we are going to be using MP Collector. This is just for fast MP regeneration without any downsides, unlike Narcissism has. So that is the MP module we are going with for this specific build. Then we've got MP Conversion to control the skill cooldown. Ideally, this is all you're going to need, because if we look at the third ability, you can see the cooldown balances out with the duration with this module alone. So we have 15.4 seconds cooldown along with 21.1 seconds duration, so we have a very nice big window to reactivate the third ability, making sure that we are still sparking and killing everything. Last but not least, we have our 3 final modules, that being skill concentration for crit damage, emergency measures for critical hit rate and crit damage, and then front lines for crit damage and also crit rate. Now, you could absolutely replace front lines with skill insight and then have another module here, you know, a little bit of back and forth, I guess. Oh, sorry, not oops, I meant to say replace emergency measures with skill insight, but you know, you get the gist. You don't want this much crit rate because you want more crit damage in exchange. So let's put front lines back on in place of here. You know, you can run these in any tandem. However, the ones that I think is probably best is going to be rocking it as the following. I do believe that having skill concentration for crit damage is the absolute power play here, so that one is integral. Then I do believe instead of having skill insight, because crit rate isn't as much of a problem as crit damage, neither of them are actually a problem, but I personally think it's just better to have both of them side by side. And then having emergency measures and frontline combined means that you get a buff in crit rate as well as crit damage on both modules, so that is my personal choice with this build. Now let's go on over some gameplay. I'll just run over this all in its entirety and I'll show you what's good about the build, what's bad, all of the information you need to know. So without further ado guys, let's get right on into this. Just as a reference, we are running the 400% Magister Labs invasion, just so we all are on the same playing ground over here. Okay, so let's talk about this. Mission has just started, and as you can see right off the bat, there are tons of enemies spawning. It's ideal to maneuver around the enemies so you don't get stopped by them. However, you can see our third ability pulsing and absolutely deleting enemies right off the bat. You can see we are hitting crits for 400,000 already, which is a great start. Now, with the enemies, once they spawn in this big ass circle over here, you're going to see nothing but pure carnage everywhere you bloody look. You can see crits are going up to 500, 700,000 crits right now. So, you know, the 800,000 crits, they go up and down. However, it is more so about the balance. Now, you can see our MP is very strong as of right now. With the MP Collector module, it is great when you have enemies spawning. However, when they don't, it can get a little bit rough. Now you can see I'm using electric condense to just take care of the boss enemies over here, and we are just right done and through right there, right just like that. And yeah, we're just gonna keep moving on with the mission and absolutely deleting all of the enemies. Now, I can't be the only one that absolutely loves the sound of Bunny just zipping and deleting everything with electricity. Truly music to my ears. Again, electric condense to just take care of that boss real quick. I'll skip on over this little segment over here because I'm pretty sure you know how it's going to go anyways, and I'll just skip on over to the boss fight to show you how that one will go. Okay, so we are now approaching the boss fight. Now, there is one thing that's important, you know, keeping your distance with Bunny, so because if you get too close, you'll get absolutely rocketed in the face, which is a guaranteed speak of the literally just like that. Okay, well, there you go, guys. That's the fastest way to speedrun death with Bunny. Now, let me show you how you speedrun actually deleting the bosses. Now, as you can see already, whenever we do hit a crit on the bosses with our third ability active, it does do a big chunk of damage to their health bar. Now, MP in this boss fight can be a little bit scarce. That is why I do think that MP collector is a little bit of a fraudulent module. Not a massive fan of it. Always preferred narcissism. Build more around that, but that's not the point of the video here, so let's focus on something else. As you can see here, with the electric condense that we just let off, we absolutely nuked all of the boss's health off right over there, even knocking him into his immunity. And you know, this is just a great way to deal with bosses, in my opinion. Electric condense does require a crit build to basically boost it, and as you can see, again, we just deleted a ton of the boss's health. I did forget my own rules about not using any weapons on the bosses, so forgive me for using the legacy there for a minute. But let's move back over and take care of this boss right over here as well. Now with this one, same story. As long as you have your third ability active, using your grapple is always going to be a great option, as well as running around with Bunny. Now, again, you can see electric condense there. I'm pretty sure it missed or something, because, I don't know, that damage did not look right to me. So we're just waiting, we're letting it go, just running around, giving it a sec. And once the electric condense comes back, we're just going to pop it immediately. And there you go, finish the boss off. Done and dusted, and we got this entire mission done in under 4 minutes, which for a solo run isn't too bad. And for the people asking, why are you not using Freyna? Shut up, this video is about Bunny. I do not care about Freyna. I mean, I do, but like, that's not the point of the video, fam. The point of the video is my queen, Bunny. Anyways, people, that's been this video on Bunny for Invasions, and I hope you have enjoyed. If you would do anything differently, please let me know how so in the comment section below. But other than that, please do smash that like button. And I wanted to quickly go on over the MP as well. If you are struggling with MP, all you gotta do is just stand still, and the MP recovery modifier in and out of combat, as long as you've got that MP recovery modifier with it, will absolutely scale up and send your MP flying up in a frenzy. So, you know, that's the important thing. But that's basically been this video. Hope you've enjoyed. Please do smash that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!